Well, interesting. I got into sailing when I went to secondary school in the west coast of Scotland, just west of Glasgow. It was quite a big school, and uh, lots of kids coming together from lots of primary schools. So, lots of people we didn't know, and I ended up meeting a guy who was into sailing. His name was Andrew Wiper, and he asked me if I fancied going sailing with him that weekend, and I did. And basically, I was sailing then. I've been sailing literally every week since. Um, so I suppose I must have been about 11 then. It was quite strange. It was, I suppose, in some regards, quite good that he chose sailing, which seemed to be relatively competent at. It might have been a bit different if he'd chosen parachuting or some other such sport. But yeah, so it was just through a friend at the local sailing club in Helensburgh, where they had a good dinghy circuit racing program there. Had one session with him and his father on the first day, and the very next day we were racing in the club racing, and we raced it every weekend and every Wednesday night for the next couple of years together. Well, ultimately, my own sailing led on to being involved in the Scottish squad system and then the British squad system at youth level. I this then went on at university to do degrees in sport and in business and recreation management, ultimately at Loughborough, and at the same time was campaigning in the Olympic classes to go to the Olympic Games, and I'd started to coach with aim that I would become a sports coach, or working outdoor education was my early thoughts. And so I ended up getting involved in coaching. I was involved in coaching for the Royal Yachting Association in Scotland, then in Wales, then ultimately became a national racing coach on the Olympic programme and coached Ian Barker and Simon Hiscox to the silver medal in the Sydney Olympics in 2000. And then just prior to the 2000 Games, there was a change around of staff at the RYA, and the job for the Olympic manager came up, which I applied for and was appointed early 2001, and I've been in that post ever since through the Athens, Beijing and London Games. I think that probably for me, um, despite my own the amount of academic qualifications I've done myself, I think the key thing for me is probably practical experience. I think there's so much competition nowadays. A lot of the academic qualifications are almost a given, but actually having some practical experience, and I suppose my starter would be for people that if they're not sure what to do or they can't find a route, is to actually apply and take up some internships, go for an internship for something that has got a job that has got some meat about it, that has got some responsibility, ideally with a company who are already employing people in that particular area, and think about the content of the job rather than necessarily the salary, or even if there is a salary, if you can afford to take an unpaid internship. Certainly in my experience, for those companies that take on interns that already employ people in those particular posts, it's always a very good opportunity for people to make themselves indispensable, and most of those good interns seem to me end up getting jobs in very quick order.